Hello. We are now doing prospecting. That's chapter 3. Prospecting is going to be the most important thing in your business. And you have to realize that you have to be doing it every day in order to succeed in this business in one form or another. It could be prospecting cold calls. It could be by owners. It could be for sale by owners. Expireds. There's a million different ways to prospect, and we're going to talk about a few. The thing you have to remember with prospecting, it's all in the way you communicate. So you have to practice on what you're going to say and be comfortable in talking with people so you don't stutter and that you can get what you're going to be saying out clearly so they can understand you, they can relate to you, instead of thinking about a script or dialogue where you're not concentrating on what they're saying. It's going to be very hard for you to be effectively communicating. So you really need to listen twice and talk once and ask questions when you're talking. 7% of what you say is going to be the words that you're saying, and then it's going to be in your tone and in your body. Get your body movement up, let them know that, they feel that you're going to be able to be enthusiastic to work with buyers, to show their property, and that you love your job. You want to create a very powerful telephone communication. When people are calling you about properties, or someone calls to list their home with you, or you're calling someone to list their home or preview their home, you want to be able to know exactly what you're saying. You want to be able to rehearse what you're saying. You want to have all of the things that you have to say, your scripts, internalized. A lot of people say to me, well, I hate scripts. Well, you'll never make it in this business, because the bottom line is that everything is a script. It's how you deliver that script. If you read through all the scripts and you're comfortable with them, when you have to go and talk to a for sale by owner, you'll know the questions that you should be asking, and you'll be very comfortable with it. If you have no clue on what's you're going to be asking next, you're not going to listen because you're going to be thinking. So that's why it's so important to internalize the things that you're going to have to say. When you're on the phone with someone, you have to really act like you care. I know all the successful agents, they talk to people, you wouldn't know there was any difference talking to their family, their friend, or someone new on the telephone. They'd have that way of making someone feel comfortable right from the beginning. You always want to smile while you're talking, so it comes through on the phone, and it comes through with a good attitude on the phone. For creating energy, you must control what some of the real estate people call, or Mike Ferry is your drunk monkey. And what that is that's that word in your ear saying you're not good enough, you're not someone's better than you, you're not doing anything right, that person that's always putting you down and you have to kind of shut up. That's why affirmations are so important, because everybody has that. Everybody may not feel great one day, or have something in their head like they're not going to list with you because you don't know what you're doing, or something crazy like that. So you always want to build yourself up and say, get that drunk monkey off your shoulder giving you that negative stuff into your brain, which you really need to put positive stuff in there and think, oh, I'm going to nail this. I'm going to be the best at this appointment. I'm going to get these people to list with me. These people are going to like me. So that's why that's so important, because everybody has that in their ear all the time. It's very common. You want to visualize making appointments. You want to think of yourself going over to a for sale by owner and them listing. You want to think of positive things when you're picking up a phone, that they're going to be happy to talk to you. And if they're not, it's not you. It's something that they're doing. Have you ever had that phone call where you're putting your groceries away and then they call up and ask you to buy something? It's, you just hit people at the wrong time. And then you might be looking for, say, a car, and somebody out of the blue calls you about finding the exact car. It's just that kind of the things that the universe puts out, and of course then you're going to be more open to talk to them. So everything is timing. Everybody is going to be hit at the wrong time, and so that is, if you get a buy owner and they're like really mad and ticked off at you, call back the next day. It's probably because they're in the middle of doing something and you just called at the wrong time. You want to speak with authority, like you know what you're talking about. You want to ask open-ended questions so they can answer something other than yes or no. You want to try to open them up and talk a little. And you want to repeat back what they say to you. And a lot of times this will be just enough to give yourself something to think about. Say that you say, where are you moving? Oh, I'm moving to LA. Oh, LA? That's really nice there. I love LA. I've been there several times. So if you repeat back, it kind of sets up you thinking about where you're going with the conversation. There's different things that you can do in prospecting. You can wait for the business to come, such as doing open house. You could put a open house sign at the office. You can wait for them to call you after you mail something out. There's a million ways that you can wait for them to call you on an ad or from Zillow or any of that advertising. That's one way of prospecting. You can buy by sending out huge amounts of mailings, huge amount of Zillow website presence, and so you can buy yourself business or you can earn business, and that's picking up the phone, calling people, getting out there, knocking on doors, putting out flyers and knocking on doors, and there's a lot of things that you can do to actually work hard and earn the business. The main way people do prospect, the things that they do is there's something called floor, if you've heard of that. Basically what that means is that in most companies they have you answering the telephones given, showing instructions. We don't have that, but floor would still be also putting a sign out or saying I'm going to be here if somebody walks in. That's basically floor duty. Or someone calls in generically, that would be floor duty. So that would be sitting there and kind of waiting for the business. There are open houses. I've had people do such successful mega open houses. And what they do is they plan prior. You find a house that you preview everything in the neighborhood. You know everything in maybe around in the city in the same price range that's vacant that you could actually bring people to. You send out, knock on doors and put invitations on all the neighbors. This is how you do a correct open house to get a lot of people through. You put out tons of open house signs, probably about 20 around the neighborhood. Put balloons up. You put you have some water and some minor beverages. You don't want them to be, that's more of a broker's open that you do food, but just for an open house for the public, that's what you would do, just maybe some little things of water, some cookies, and trying to get in as many people as you can in the community and start a rapport with them when they come in, asking them questions, starting them in dialogue, and so on. Then there's ads. You can run ads in realtor magazines and online. There's all kinds of ads. That's another way you can find prospective buyers. There's signs. Your for sale sign is a wonderful way of advertising. We have things on there that will kind of text information to and capture, lead capture. There's recordings on signs. There's a million things that you can do to get buyers from signs. There's mail outs. You can do a mail out to a neighborhood. If you're going to do a mail out, it's best to be consistent. So it's what we call farming. And so what you do is you send it out monthly with information about the neighborhood, about some things that have sold in the neighborhood or anything like that is the most effective way to do that. You could do parties. Our top agent does multiple parties through the year for all her past clients and center of influence and friends and family. She has big parties, 2 or 3 a year, from a woman's hat party at the yacht club to luau's to a big Christmas party in her home. I've had people say that it's Christmas time and they send out an invitation to all their clients to stop in. They're having an open house this day and pick up a pie. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Networking groups. You can join or start your own networking group. People with in different fields. They all meet to try to source business to one another. That's basically through a networking group. Through clubs, whether you're doing some education. I've done really well with CRS, GRI. What people do is they refer people that are in certain clubs, and or you could be in a running club, or an art club, or anything like that you join that it's a wonderful thing because it gets you not only rounded with real estate but another dimension of yourself. So say you enjoy running. My husband enjoys running, so we have people that we deal with from the running club. It could be in any kind of interest you have, but that's a wonderful way to get business. Through children's school events, that's a great way. Talking with the parents, networking, asking them if they have a realtor that they deal with every day. If not, then ask them if they would mind giving you their address if they would like to get some information about things that you mail out for people, about just interested about real estate, things that are going on in the real estate market, if they may want to buy an investment and such, any good deals, that you send those things out. So that's the way to get their address. Or hook up on Facebook is the best. Social media is amazing in that. Try to find them on Facebook after you meet them. Remember their names. Expired prospecting. Basically, but expired prospecting would be a listing that doesn't sell. It's been on the market, it expires with the other agent, and the owner may still want to sell it most of the time, and will be listed with another agent. For sale by owner prospecting, people trying to sell by themselves, and they find out it's harder than they think. So that's another way that you can prospect. Just listed, just sold. When one house sells, usually 2 or more on a street sell right away. So that's another thing you can do. When you sold a house, go around it, or just listed a house, go around it and see if anybody else in the neighborhood might be interested in selling or buying. The sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is the people that you know already, whether it be your barber, your people you buy your jewelry from, people that you might go to a restaurant locally. I mean, there's a million things on your sphere, your dentist, your doctor, anything like that would become your sphere of influence, people that know you. So that's another way that you can go after. And then referrals from past clients, referrals from anybody that you know. So this is just to name some. Now, the best agents, also rentals, another thing. People that have rented a property a year ago have to re-rent it. Another thing is the people that are going to be renting, that have rented a property they might be having to want to buy. So you can search for old rentals, and then they're going to be buying a property. Probate, there's another one. People that have died and they have their property has to go to an estate, and then they have to sell it, their parents' house or such, and we have a lot of probate here. So there's all these avenues that you have. But the best thing you need to do is, I say to pick 5 things that you really want to focus on. And start with 1, the number 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a really strong system in place. Say that you have 3 months just to put in 1. Spend the 3 months putting a complete amazing system in for getting that source of business. Then you go to 2, so you keep 1 going and go to 2. Then you keep 1 and 2 going, and then you go to 3. Then you keep 1, 2, and 3 going, then you go to 4, and then you keep 1, 2, 3, 4 going, and 5. Because once the system is in place, it's easy. But you need to create systems to run your business and to prospect every single day, because that is what your business will be built on. And the best thing to do is to start working your past clients and your center of influence immediately, and spend a lot of time in that, because that is so important, and that can make your business take off in the matter of a few years. So you want to focus on those people. You want to get back in their lives. Ask them if they have any family members thinking of moving. They always come up with stuff when you're in. If you're always talking with them every few months and just say hello, it's a wonderful way to get yourself up and running fast. Characteristics of good prospectors. They internalize their scripts. They read a script a million times. I mean, they read it every day, maybe for a month. A million times is a lot, but I mean, every day, you get my drift. They've read it so many times that they don't even have to think about it anymore. It's in their head. When do you plan on moving? How long have you lived at this address? Where did you move from? If you how'd you happen to pick this area? If you were to move, where would you go next? And when were you thinking about moving? Obviously, you realize it could take 3 to 6 months to sell your house. You get the drift of it. I have all these scripts down, but I mean, I know them. And so I'm not just talking like that. I talk to people normal, and then I just have it in my head. I know what I need to ask. I know how to get a conversation going. That's what scripts are for, not to sit there, when do you plan on moving? Because they're going to say, this person's gone. You see people that are very robotic. People don't want to deal with people that are robots. They want to feel that they care. They want to feel empathy. They want to feel that they're asking because they have common goals. They're going to help you reach your goal. And that's what you want them to believe, is that you're going to help them reach their goal in the fastest time and get them the most amount of money and make it very easy for them. Those are the 3 things every seller wants. Make sure, again, that you are very enthusiastic and that you have goals. You know, you want to make sure your goals are in line with your prospecting. You want to have prospecting, or your goals, then your schedule, and then in your schedule, you're going to have your prospecting. So everything has to align. You have to have your vision, what drives you, then your goals, then your schedule, and then all of the prospecting is number 1 in your schedule. So it has to go like that, and that's the way you need to think as a business would have to think. You know, every business is wanting to get business, and that's what they have to focus on. Everything else takes second fiddle to that. So you want to be able to think just like a business. Like I said, have energy, that you have to understand the importance of new business. And that's so true. It's not just the old business that's bringing in new. It's not just who you know, it's who you don't know. That's where the bulk of your business will come. You have to be very scheduled. This is what a great prospector is. They know that that's the most important thing in their schedule, and they get it done in the morning because they know that there's no excuses that it will be done. Prospecting is their number 1 priority, like I said, and every top agent is a great prospector, and they're great at talking to people. And all that is just reading scripts, memorizing, and knowing what to say. So when you're having a conversation, it's just a normal conversation. You want to practice your scripts find a role play partner, someone that you can find in the company, and ask them, hey, do you want to practice our scripts together? If you want to have somebody, just see me, and I'll find someone to practice with you. Non-productive is just winging it and you're unsure how to handle yes because you don't even know where to go yet next because you just kind of play by the seat of your pants. You lack confidence because, let's face it, if you don't know what to say, you're not going to be confident. You have no idea what to ask next, and you're thinking of what the client is answering versus listening to the client. You're thinking about what you're going to be saying. So that's a big problem a lot of people have, is they're always thinking about what they're going to be asking next instead of listening because they don't know and they haven't memorized and internalized their scripts. For future prospecting are people that may just listed, just sold, because there may be somebody in the neighborhood might be listing or selling. Farming is for you looking for people that might be interested, so they start to see your stuff again and again and again, but that's going to get you something in the future. Sphere and past clients, when things come up, it's like you work them for future business. So say that 3 months later their family member wants to sell a house, they call you. So that's basically what future prospecting is. For immediate business that will happen right now are for sale by owners, expires, probate, which is people that are their estates, short sales because they have to get out, they're behind on their mortgages, and sellers that are under contract that need to buy. Those are your best buyers, are your sellers. And rentals. That's immediate business that you can get paid on right away. I always say, if people want to make money in this business fast, start working rentals immediately. It's a great source, and you don't have to be at a rental company to do it. All you have to do is, there's a lot of different ways, but just go into properties that have been rented 10 months ago and pull those up. Call the owners, see if they're going to have to relist, if they were re-renting. Send out something to the current renter living there. See if they want to get pre-qualified. See if they're going to be in the market to buy soon. You could even do that 6 months prior to try to plan and then get a plan together on how to do that. So those are really good ideas to get you solid in finding somebody. Main reasons agents don't call or follow up. They just have no idea what to say. They're afraid they're going to be rejected. They have zero skills, so they have nothing to offer in this business because they haven't put the time in to learn what to say and how to deliver it. And basically, They really they don't prospect at all. So they just kind of wait for business constantly, and they do nothing to inspire business. And I think that another reason why they don't follow up is they're looking to get paid today versus things that will become something down the road. The more you spend with people today, even if they're not quite ready, the more you start to build that sphere. And they say if you have 10% is what you can expect from a sphere. So if you have 100 people, you can get 10 deals. If you have 200 people, 20 deals. If you build it to 300 people, 30 deals. So if you just work on building that sphere and people that know you and communicating with that sphere, you can do a ton of business just from that alone and being able to manage that properly. To me, that should be something that you're focusing on right away. It's very important. The benefits of your sphere is they already know you. They usually know someone that needs to buy or sell, and they will want you to help them, and they trust you already. So it's a wonderful way to start. These people know you, and they get to the point, but don't be rude when calling. Listen for motivation and do great follow up. So those are the things that you always want to do with your sphere. Who should be in your sphere is anyone that bought or sold with you within the past ever. Any buyers or that bought one of your listings, that we call them orphans, because usually if a buyer buys one of your listings, the other agent never follows up with them. So you can call them and just say, I'd like to have their number just to make sure that there's no problems or there's anything that I have to ask later. Get their number at closing and then start calling them and put them on your sphere. And then they're just going to remember you because the other agent that had the listing is just going to be gone. Friends, family, people you do business with in the community, and acquaintances after you ask them so you can update them. So you meet them and then you want to send them, you're going to update them with your material. You should use the Mayor campaign or something similar, and basically how that goes is for people you know well, you say, oh, by the way, if you were buying or selling a home or had a family or friend buying or selling, am I the person that you're going to refer them to because you know them already? So you just kind of put that in their head. Hey, if you have anybody that's looking to buy or sell, am I the person that you would refer? And see what they say. If they say yes, then awesome. Then you may want to add them on Facebook, add them if you send something out to your sphere, or if you're going to invite them to something, those would be people that you know. And then somebody that you meet and you want to ask them, you would say the same thing, and then you would ask them, do you have an agent that you would refer business to in real estate? And then if they say, yeah, I already deal with an agent, we're good friends, then oh, great, no problem. Who's that agent? Just maybe make some small talk, and then bam, you're out of there. But this way, if they don't have anybody, then you can become and slide into that spot. So when you're working a party, you can kind of ask around, hey, do you work with a realtor, or do you have someone that you refer friends and family to? And then if they say no, then that's your spot where you can say, well, I have a lot of information I get from time to time that's really helpful for people that that are going to either invest in real estate or buy or sell. Would you like to receive that material? If they say yes, bam. Have them write all their information down. You have the card, and then you need to get it into your system. So basically, that's what that takes. And then also, you always want to contact people. You want to care, and you always want to be a part of the community. And all of these things, what you want to do is you want to always give them some kind of something of value, something that can help them. And then that's something that you want to share with them, not just a letter. This is, oh, you thinking of selling? No. You might get something about fixing your credit, or something that has something about a community event going on. Those are the things that you want to share with people. For sale by owners, there's a lot of pages about for sale by owners. I really want you to read through. I put it down in the script where you can kind of go over this. But what this basically is, there's 3 facts that you have to know. Number 1, sellers have been using real estate agents for over 100 years. Number 2, 87% of for sale by owners are going to eventually list. So they're a wonderful source for you. And 3, that we as real estate agents can get them a lot more money than they can get on their own, as well as save them a lot of time and aggravation. So those are three things that you really want to have in your head when dealing with for sale by owners. 6 reasons that to list with a realtor is: number 1, serious buyers only shop for sale by owners to save the commission. So they can't save the commission and the seller can't save the commission. So the commission gets negotiated. So in the end, how much do they actually save? The law of supply and demand. You have to realize that with a lot of supply, then it's going to, this demand is low, then the prices are lower. If there is a lot of demand and there's no supply, then prices go up. So you have to realize when people are shopping, they're going to go with the people that have the most properties available, and that's going to be a realtor. It's going to open up the doors for them to find more properties, and then the buyer owner will be sitting there by itself, and there'll be less people looking at it. So with the law of supply and demand, if they only have a few people looking at it, the prop that's going to go low in price. Where if there's a lot of exposure and a lot of people looking at it, the price is going to go high. It's very difficult the third thing is it's very difficult for buyer owners to separate lookers from buyers. A lot of people that will go to a buyer owner is going to be someone that has time, looking for it to steal something, looking for owner financing and all these crazy terms. Someone that has a lot of time on their hands. They're not going to get the best buyers, like people that are going to want to come in, like a corp relo, or someone that's going to be moving here in 2 months and has to come here and buy a house. They're not going to be running around to for sale by owners. They're going to be going with you, looking at all the properties, or a realtor's going to bring them in and show the property with an agent. So the chances of them to save the commission is very, very small. The longer it takes to sell, the more money the for sale by owner loses, especially if the house is vacant and they're paying either maintenance or they're paying upkeep. So time is money, and also money on their money. If they own it free and clear, they would have that money put away, so they're going to be getting money on it. So there's a lot of different things that come into the play, but basically time is money. So the less time it takes to sell, the more money in their pocket, especially if they're paying a mortgage. Marketing services, we have exposure, and then that brings in a lot of prospects, and that brings value. So versus if you had 10 buyers look at your property or 1, who do you think is going to get a better price? Of course, the 10. And then third-party negotiating is priceless. There's a reason why car dealerships have a salesman, and then they leave the room with the people sitting there and go in and talk to the guy in the back, because they know that the guy in the back is the one that makes the ultimate decision about the price, that he can be firm, he can have more wiggle room, and the guy that's selling the car going back and forth, the salesman, he's the one that has to put the pressure on both sides, because he's getting the commission to try to get the deal done. But the guy sitting here, which would be the seller of the property, they can stay firm on their price. They don't have to see the buyers and turn them down. So it's a very powerful situation when you have that ability, is to have a third-party negotiator. This is just like a presentation that I put together, and it's just kind of going over those same points but in depth. And another thing too is here are some questions that are important, like ask where they're moving to. And then what we would do is call them up even before you get there and go into some of these things. Even with a for sale by owner, once they say, okay, well, we'll cooperate, you get an appointment, you're going to go over and talk to them a little bit. Then you would go into asking them, so where were you moving to? And then listen to what they say. And how fast do you have to be there? Because that's going to put in your head, we have no time period. That means there's no motivation. So that listing isn't, it could be good still, but it's not as good as someone that says, I need to be there in 2 months. If my husband's going by himself and I'm going to be here by myself, that's a motivated person. So that's what you're listening for, is motivation, to see how fast. Because if they have all the time in the world, obviously they don't need us. As well as if they have to sell in 2 months, they need us a lot faster. And those are the type of listings that we like to get. And then you said you want to price your home at $299. You said that or do you have any idea what you want to price your home at? I guess this is a by owner, so that's what you would ask there. But if you're talking to someone like a person that's just brand new, do you have any idea what you want to ask for your home? And then usually they say, you're the expert, you'll be telling me. So I've heard that a million times. So you're going to know the scripts, but you're going to ask it in several different ways. So you said you owe $150, okay, and so $150, and you said you were moving because you're going to be going to LA, and you said if your home didn't sell that you were prepared to rent it, or there is no, if it has to sell, or what's going to happen as a backup plan. And you said the qualities you want in an agent is, so you want to ask them what are the things that you're going to be looking for in an agent. Are there certain services that you want? That comes into listening. And you said you want your money out versus holding financing, correct? And how much will you finance for your next home, on your next home? So basically, another thing too is say that how much money do you think you will be walking with when you sell this house? So if they say $150 and you got a $150 mortgage, it's not going to be $300,000. That's not going to really going to be what they're walking with. So it all comes down to what their net is. So you have to listen good to those things. This is the 6 reasons that we went over why 87% of for sale by owners list. And this is a good explanation. I would read this. I would memorize this as a script. So when you're over there, you can have the 6 reasons why people end up listing with a real estate agent. And then they're going to feel comfortable that you basically know what they are. And just to know the 6 and read them and then just put the outline, the 6, and then it's going to make it's just going to trigger it in you. So once you've read through this 10, 15 times, it's going to be in your head. Bam, this is what it is. Bam, this is what it is. So when you're talking with people, it's just going to come out flowing and very easy for you. And then now I have a page in here adding your sphere of influence. So basically what this is doing is the Mayor campaign, asking them again, do you have someone that you work with, that you refer family, friends, and that you buy property from? And if they say yes, then okay, no problem. And or you could just say, oh, who is that? And then kind of just maybe even take it a step further, because sometimes people say that just to get rid of you, and then open up the conversation a little bit. If they can't throw you the name, then it's a good chance that you can still get in there. So don't take yes a lot of times for an answer. Just change the subject, talk about something else, and then go back in if they can't come up with the name, and just say, well, it's sometimes good to have 2 people. So I get some great information from time to time. I'm sure maybe your agent doesn't send it to you, that it might be helpful about real estate. Have you ever thought investing in real estate? And kind of, just kind of feel them out and try to get their name and number so that you can get them into your sphere, and then you can start that relationship. And then